Weird. I'll just make two.
This is the good life. Oh, oh, oh. This is the good life. Oh, oh. Out in the sunshine, nothing but good times. This is the good life. This is the good life.
So in 2019, I sat down and asked myself, how much longer can I stay sane on a debt-free journey? At that point in 2019, I had already been paying off debt for 12, going on 13 years. Yep, you heard that right. 13 long years. So in December 2020, when we actually became debt-free, so just a few months ago, we kind of took a moment, and I remember thinking, okay, now what? So here are 5 things that have changed for us since we became debt-free. Number 1, we bulked up our emergency savings. So I think part of the reason why we struggle so much on why it took us so long to become debt-free, I mean, obviously circumstances, but also our emergency fund in the very beginning of our debt-free journey was so small. We only had $1,000, and that didn't even cover 1 month's worth of rent. So when we lost our job and our income started getting unstable, it really didn't help us very much. So once we landed on solid ground after our financial disaster, we already bumped up our emergency savings quite a bit before we even started paying on debt. What we had before was enough to pay first and last month's rent plus moving expenses. It also kind of coincided with what we thought maybe an emergency surgery or ER visit would be on top of that, just things like that, because you never know. So now we're just trying to do whatever our emergency amount we would need per month, and we're just trying to do it month by month and hopefully eventually get up to 12 months worth. Number 2, we upped our retirement contributions. So we never actually paused our retirement contributions, but without having minimum payments, because we've paid off all of our debt, we have a little more money to add to our retirement. So right now we are contributing 15% towards a dated index fund for our 401k, and hopefully we'll continue to increase our investments and retirement contributions as we go on. Number 3, we reinstituted sinking funds. So sinking funds are any kind of upcoming expenses or even unexpected expenses. It's just having money set aside for those things. So in 2020, that was our debt-free goal, and we actually almost didn't make it because we just had some problems. Like we had to pause our debt snowball out because of my health and things like that. So we actually stopped contributing to individual savings funds for things like Christmas and holidays, anniversaries, travel, all the things that you want to have a little bit of money set aside so it's there ready to pay for things. So we decided, we made a personal decision to stop contributing to those things, and then once we became debt-free, we had the money available in our budget again to start contributing and saving for those sinking funds. And a nice perk of having sinking funds, multiple ones, is whenever something comes up, it's already there for you. For example, our Jeep just stopped working and we had a sinking fund of a couple $1,000s because it's an old Jeep, and so it really wasn't that hard for us to just make the payments, do it, and it's ready to go. Number 4, we updated our kind of scaled back paying off debt budget with a more long-term realistic family budget. So we kind of just eased up on our spending a little. Before, we just tried to tighten the belt as tight as we possibly could. We were living off 45% of James's income, just really, really tight. And that just worked really great short term while we try to reach our goal, because we were just really motivated to pay off debt and move on with life, basically. After we became debt free, we looked at our numbers. We saw maybe areas where we were overspending and just knew we just needed to relax a little bit more. So we wanted to add a little bit more cushion and also just add a little bit more funding to some of the items in our budget, to still live comfortably, but still have money set aside for financial goals that we want to achieve. So for us, that's like our personal spending. You know, while we're paying off debt, it was $10. That was just something we felt comfortable doing. And now it's $20. So James gets an allowance. He gets $20 each paycheck. It's awesome. We also added in a little bit more spending in our grocery budget, and our clothing budget. We saved money for like new shoes for the kids, but that's basically it. So now we're just trying to update clothing and things like that we put off during our debt-free journey. And number 5, we added new budget categories to our monthly budget. Along with updating our budget, we also kind of looked at where we were spending that we didn't even have a category for. So for me, I have been having health issues for the last few years, and I really haven't been I didn't have a health budget. I didn't have a physical therapy budget. I just was like kind of winging it, taking it from sinking funds and things like that. And now I'm going like twice a week to 3 times a week. It just needed to be added to our budget. James also has some health goals that he wanted to accomplish, so we added in a personal trainer, just some things like that that we know is a high value for us and a priority. Health is just one of those, so we added that to our budget. Overall, life feels pretty much the same as when we were on a debt-free journey. It feels very similar. We're still having to be really intentional with our spending and having it align with our financial goals, what we want to accomplish in the next few years. But one thing I love is that we are working towards our present and future instead of just paying for our past. So that is a good feeling. If you want more help figuring out how to come up with a plan to pay off your own debt, or figuring out how to get a handle on budgeting, please follow me on my Instagram page where I show up every day, basically, except for the weekends. So on there, I'm frequently giving updates and tips and education on there, what's helped our family. So I hope you guys check it out. Are you debt-free? What changes happened to you once you became debt-free? Are you paying off debt? And what's one thing that you can't wait to change once you become debt-free? I would love to hear in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Bye.